to my class. In the last class, we have seen we have introduced the poet and we have seen the central idea of the poem, and we also saw a few lines, and I've explained to you some of the lines wherein the poet is asking the wind to come softly, not to break the shutters of the window by not scattering the papers, by not throwing down the books on the shelf, and but the wind didn't listen to the poet's words. It came off with a gust, with a fiery manner, in a fiery manner, by scattering all the things here and there. And moreover, he told the wind tore the pages of the books, brought the rain down, and everywhere the whole scenario was in a mess. So we stopped till the line, "You brought rain again." Now we'll continue further. The next line, "You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings, frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, and crumbling hearts." So here the poet is telling that wind is very clever in making fun of weaklings in the sense what, the one who has a weak mindset. It can be a weak plants, it can be a small plants or small children or anything which is weak. Okay. And that's what he has given here, frail crumbling houses which have the structure is built very badly, very weak, and weak doors, weak rafters. Rafter here is meaning I have given, it is sloping beam which supports the roof of the building. Crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives. So anything, and crumbling hearts. Now here crumbling heart is in the sense what, the poet is referring this crumbling hearts to the people who has weak heart in the sense the weak mindset and the weak heart, so which they can't withstand the stronger things. So here, in general, the wind is considered to be a very strong object which crushes everything which is weak. Moving to the next line, "The wind god winnows and crushes them all." Here, the poet is referring the wind. He is referring the wind to a god, and how we do the winnow. Winnows is in the sense what we have already you have already learned in the science. How you separate the grain from the husk. The same way, here the wind is winnowing. Winnowing means he's sifting the strong people from the weaker ones and making the weaker people crush by being crushed. So that is what the poet is referring the wind to a god which winnows, which separates the strong people from the weaker ones, and weaker ones get crushed. So, and moving to the next line, "He won't do what you tell him." Here, see, as we say, see, without any invitation, and without what, whenever we say that you come this time, you come that time, nobody will listen. The same way, wind is, as I told you in the central idea of poem, is that wind is referred to the problems or challenges, the adversities. It is compared. The poet is comparing the wind to the challenges, problems which we face in the life. So here we never invite any problems, and we can't say that you may come tomorrow or you come day after tomorrow. So problems will never listen to us. The same way, the poet here, he is referring wind to a problems. So he won't do what you tell him. So whatever we expect, whatever we think, everything, it is not all the situations are not there in our hands. So we can't expect, we can't predict the future. So anything can happen. It may happen good or it may happen bad. So life is unpredictable here. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body, make the heart steadfast. So what the poet is trying to tell here is, so in, see, as we all know, Life is unpredictable. Is unpredictable. Predictable means what? So we can't predict the situations. We can't predict the situations at what time what will happen. So in order to make ourselves ready to face anything that comes in our way, the poet is asking to build strong homes. So, building the strong homes, join the doors firmly. Here he is asking, if your homes are strong, if your doors are firmly locked, then there is no chance of anything like a wind to enter inside the home. So the same way we have to build ourselves, the strong will. We have to build ourselves strong, physically strong and mentally firm, mentally fit. So practice to form the body means, which means what? Here we have to make ourselves, we have to build ourselves to be physically strong and make the heart steadfast. Steadfast means what? Steadfast means our heart should be firm. Our heart should be firm to face any challenges, to tackle any situations, whatever the problems come anytime. We should be get ready to face anything. So that way we have to plan prior. We have to be always pre-planned. Pre-planned in the sense what? So anything may happen. You have to be ready for whatever the situations that come. Okay, understood. So do this and the wind will be friends with us. So the poet is telling, if you build yourself. So here what? Here strong will and determination. These are the two powerful weapons that a human should possess so as to tackle any problem. So if these two weapons are there with you, if these two that will definitely it is like a shield, it is like a weapon which protects the obstacles from which protects from anything. Okay, so do this and wind will be friends with us. So if we are physically fit and mentally strong, if our willpower is very strong and we are determined, then wind will be friends with us. So here wind is compared to what I said, it is compared to the problems, the challenges what we face in our life. So definitely wind will be friend with us. So we have to, whatever the problems come, then definitely we have to accept the problem, so that in the near future you may not look like problem as a problem. So whatever it comes, you take it as very casually and you try to solve it. If you are mentally and physically strong enough, then only you can do it. Okay, so the wind blows out weak fires. Now, what do you mean by this line? The wind blows out weak fires in the sense what? Even the wind god, even the wind is supports the stronger ones. The same way, the world around us, they always support the stronger people, and weaker ones will be always belittled, or they are always overlooked by the world. So the same way the wind blows out weak fire. This is the meaning here. This is how you can correlate with the human nature, the human type of the people. Here we are talking about stronger ones, strong people and the weak people. So here the world always supports the stronger one, because they have the caliber, they have the capacity to sustain anything, and they have all the capability to surpass the situation, the odd situations. So that is why wind will be always friend with the stronger ones, and it completely extinguish, it completely blows out the weak fires. The weaker ones will be crumbled in the sense they are weak, because of they can break, or they will fall down. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. Now, what do you mean by this? As I said, wind always supports the stronger ones. So, the wind will support the stronger fire. It makes strong fires roar and flourish. Roar in the sense what? To, what do you say? Burn brightly, more brighter, and it will grow. Here, the same thing here is that the world will support the stronger ones, and if the society, if we have a support in our surrounding, if there is no support, definitely a person can't grow. So the support should be there from the surroundings, from the environment, then only it gives the motivation for a person to grow. So if the support is there, if the support is there for the people, then definitely they get motivated, and they try, and they give a try to become more stronger. Understood? So he makes strong fires roar and flourish. So in this way, wind always support the stronger ones, and it helps in growing the stronger ones. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Now, what do you mean by this? So, his friendship is good. So, here the poet is telling that we have to be friend with the wind. In the sense, we have to be friend with the problems what we face. So, if you take problems as your friend, then definitely you can find the innovative ways to tackle the problem, and your life will be going very smooth. So once if you think problem is not a problem, once you treat problem as your friend, then definitely you can lead a smooth and tension free life. So that is what the poet is telling. And we praise him every day. Now, what do you mean by this? We praise him every day. See, because of the problems, see how you accept. Don't think that problem will always make you weak. More, the problems will always create tensions. So, if you think in a negative way, if you think in a negative way, then definitely you will act in a negative manner. So you should not be pessimistic. If you think in the problems, okay, problems has come, now there is a chance to improve yourself. How you can improve? How, what are the new ways, what are the alternate ways you can try out to emerge out of the problems, which helps you, not only you to grow personally, and moreover you become more stronger. As day by day you become more stronger, and definitely you will be bold at one stage of point, where when you become what do you say, personally if you grow, personally if you grow, if you become more mature in thinking, and if you what do you say, if you tag day by day, it improves your personality traits. So in this way, if you don't think problem as a problem, you think problem as your friend, which helps, definitely help you in your what do you say, definitely help in your way. Okay, so this is what the poet is trying to say. Is the main theme of the poem is that we have to be physically fit and mentally strong. Don't take problems as a problem. Treat the problems as your friend, which helps you in your development. It can be anyways in all the dimensions. It helps in the development of yourself, and moreover you will be more energetic, and you will be more enthusiastic to lead your life, unless and until problems arise. So this is what the poet is trying to say. He is trying to convey the message through this poem. Now, so this is the end of the poem. I hope you understood. If any doubts is there, please slide. This is the literary devices of the poem. As in the first poem, I've already told you about literary devices. The literary devices are nothing but they are the tools to enhance the beauty of the language. Here, literary devices of the poem is nothing but they are the poetic devices, like a figures of speech, to enhance the beauty of the poem. Now coming to this poem, there are sorted out five types. I charted out five types of literary devices. The first one is anaphora. This is a figure of speech when a word is repeated at the start of two or more consecutive lines. It is the device of anaphora. Now, you just see your textbook, lines 2, 3 and 4. They begin with the letter don't. So here, don't break the shutters of the window, don't scatter the papers, and don't throw down the books. So these three lines, they begin with the don't. So here the repetition is there in two or more consecutive lines. So and also in line 6, 7 and 8, you is there. You tore the pages of the book, you brought the rain again, and you are very clever. So here uh, the word, the beginning word, if it is repeated consecutively, then the figure of speech is nothing but anaphora. Next one is personification. Now, wind has been personified. Now, what do you mean by personification? When any inanimate object, apart from the human beings, when any other creature or any other thing is given, it's compared to a human action, is compared to the human action, then that figure of speech is nothing but personification. Here, when the poet says you are, so here poet says that you brought the rain. So as if the poet is talking to a human being here. Here the wind is actually the inanimate object. Okay, apart from the human being. So as if the poet is talking to a wind. So that human the human action is highlighted here. That's why it is personification. Now, repetition. Crumbling is repeated many times to lay emphasis. Now, what do you mean by emphasis? Emphasis is nothing but to stress upon the particular matter. To stress upon the particular matter. Now, here, why crumbling wood, crumbling wood? Each time it is repeated so as to lay emphasis. Crumbling here, it is referred to a weaker one. So, each and every weak object, each and every weak things the poet has emphasized here. That is why the word crumbling is repeated. Now, alliteration. Alliteration is nothing but the repetition of a consonant sound in close connection. Wind, winnows, won't, want. Now here, wind, the sound, the consonant sound, we, wind, winnows. So the starting letter is wi, wi, is it not? So this is the consonant sound which is repeated successively, and here also won't, want, were sound is there. So this is since the repetition of the consonant sound is there, it is nothing but an alliteration. Now, symbolism. Symbolism means that the thing refers to some other thing. Now, wind is a symbol. Now, why wind is symbol here? It refers to the challenges in life. As I told you while I was discussing with you the central idea of the poem, that wind is compared to the problems, challenges that we face in human life. Is it not? So the same thing here is wind is a symbol. So the symbolism, this is the symbolism, is a figure of speech is used, and he is using wind as a symbol for the adversities in our life. So I hope you understood, you have got a clear idea, clear picture about the literary devices of the poem. Why I am discussing in each poem the literary device? Because questions may arise in the read the following extract. One extract will be given there, the question will be, one of the question may appear in your examination. So there, wherein you have to identify, wherein you should have the knowledge of figures of speech. So that's why I'm discussing each and every in each and every poem the literary devices, so that it will it will get you will be better enabled, you will be better understood the literary devices. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.